Okay, good morning. Yeah, so we we've been able to complete the aspect of our invoices, our receipts so far. So we are drawing closer to the end of the training. So let's look at the aspect of expenses. What do we understand expenses to be? So expenses are those costs that are actually incurred to carry on to make sure that the business keeps going. So you could recognize it as the operational activities. So those costs that you expense on the operations of the business just to make sure that the business keeps growing or moving. Now, some of these expenses could be things like electricity bill, rent, what again? What are the kind of expenses? Transportation, meals. So those are the different kinds of expenses, and you want to try as much as possible to manage them with the system. Now, also the system, we are going to be looking at three different ways of capturing these expenses. There is one we call the single date or just a single transaction expense. Then there's another one for bulk dates or bulk expenses transactions. Then we also have the aspect of recording the mileage. That is, you want the mileage to be able to you want the mileage to be able to configure what's it called, generate the expenses so far for you. So let me try to do a kind of recap on it, which is expenses represent money you spend out of your pocket with the ultimate target of generating revenue for your organization. So basically, expense is the outflow of money to carry out the operational activities of your organization. Different businesses incur different types of expenses. Any amount of money spent to keep up with the business workflow will be labeled as an expense. Let's look into Charles' business to have a better understanding. So this is a scenario of Charles owns a gift shop and he delivers them to various parts of the city. The expenses he usually incur would be mileage expenses because of the delivery. Also, he needs to record the amount of money spent on other things such as electricity, rent, stationery, but for making gifts. So similarly, when you spend money from your account, you can record them in the expense module and how to track the money you spent so far. So now these are the expenses that I'm telling you about. So we'll first look at the aspect of single date expenses. So the single date, let me move into the application. So we are familiar with this, so it shouldn't be a new thing. So we have expenses here and we are familiar with navigating. Now you can click on new. You can click on new. Now at the point of clicking new, you have the date which date this transaction actually occur. Let me see if there is a kind of if we have any training that we can use on it. Scenarios. Okay, no scenarios here. So let me just try to make up some scenarios. So let's say on the first, let's assume today, which is 28 December 2021. Now, category name, you need to understand the expense you are dealing with first. Now, you need to, for instance, you can categorize all your expenses. That is, you can have expenses according to meals, you can have it according to selling and distribution. So how do you have all those? So look at this now. So advertising and marketing, what type of automobile expense, consultant expense, credits. So these are it. So if you have things like let's say subscription, internet subscription. So you need to understand that do you have something related to internet subscription. So if you don't have, okay, look at this now. We have high tier internet expenses, so you can decide to make use of this. But if you look at it and find out that whatever you have written there is not what you actually want, you don't want to have this label, you can as well come here and create your own. You can as well come here and create your own. All you just need to do is just scroll down here, then click on new category. So you are giving it a category of expenses. It could be maybe MD's expenses. Maybe you have a way whereby all money being expensed to the MD. You can also have that created. All I just need to do is just click on, then have something like MD expense. I have my MD expense here. Then I have something related to MD expense. You understand? So I have this. I have my MD expense, then, which means whatever thing I'm doing here is recording into the MD's expense. Then how much am I expensing on this MD expense? Let's say the MD just sent we're buying food for MD and his friends. So I have 10,000 here. Now what is this is just a reference, maybe the document number on that receipt that you brought. So it's also very important that if you are keeping a if you are having a proper bookkeeping, you must have a supporting document. You must always have a supporting document to it. It's better. So you have this, then notes to the account. So what are the notes to the account? This is now, you can say lunch for meeting now. So yeah, the customer is not paying for it. So situation whereby you want the customer, for instance, there could be some expenses and you want the customers to be responsible for the payment, you can actually use it. But let's leave this so that we don't have. So then I click on save. Now save here, it means I'm saving just this. So if I still want to save and create another new one, all I just need to do is just to click on save and new. But let me just click on save here. So this has been recorded. So this has been recorded onto the MD's expense. You understand? So like I told you, also you can still attach the receipt or source document to it, so you can have it. Now also, if you found out that this happens regularly, you can make what we call the recurring expense. So you can have a recurring expense that every day, maybe you have it every day. Okay, let me give an example. Okay, you give your staff phone calls, money for phone calls every week. So you can have that to be scheduled on the system. So you can say, okay, let me just do another one. Let me create a new one. Now let's assume this is supposed to happen every day, or every week rather. Let me say this. So on the 6th of November, there is a telephone expense that happens every week. Then I give my staff, let's say 1,000 naira. I may not put anything here. Yeah. Let me say airtime recharge. For the week. So I have airtime recharge for the week. Then I click on save. So that has been saved. Then I come here and say I want to make this a recurring. So you can see the system is telling you that, oh, you said you want to, so you need to give it a, so I can say recharge, airtime recharge, recharge. So now at this level, I'm making a recurring expense, repeat every week. You can see, so you have the frequency at which, how does the system generate the document on this. So I want weekly, so this then starts when. Now I want it to start on so this, I've done the one for this, right? I've done the one for this. Let me just leave this. Then it should end, it should never end, so I can say never expire. You understand? So I click on save. You understand? So weekly the system will keep repeating that. So now at this level you have reduced some part of your work. You've reduced your part of work. So it's not every month you start expecting the every week, or you start doing that yourself. So the system will actually do this for you. The system will actually do this for you. You can also stop it. You can also stop it. Now if I say create expense, so I can create the expense for this month. So and then create any expense there again. So that is that about our expense on single day. So you can see this is single days expense. Now if I decide okay, now I want my expense to be based on, you can look at this also, look at this thing, see what the system is saying. Now the system also has advanced travel and expense reporting software. So it allows you to manage your corporate, automate expenses reporting, simplifies approvals and disbursement, and offers you flawless data sync with invoice. So you what's it called? You could have a different software also, that what this does is it will manage the expenses for you, but still going to be the same. Try for free. Let's leave that outside that. So let's now go into that. Let me create another one. So what I showed you earlier was a single transaction for a single day. What about if I have different transaction but for same date? You understand? Maybe at the end of the day, I just want my staff to enter those transactions, or I want to even key my transactions that day. So let me say, okay, there's another transaction that happened on let's say on the 8th. You understand? So what are the kind of transaction that happened on the 8th? Now this is not a single transaction. There was mail, there was transport, there was internet, there was maybe like 3 different transactions. And because these transactions are supposed to go to the respective category, so it is important for us to take note of that. So now let me say, okay, the first thing that happened was internet subscription. Then now listen, internet subscription, this alone is for just a single line. Now if you want to enter multiple lines, all you just do is itemize. You understand? So it gives you opportunity to pick. Now this is I can say Airtel internet subscription. You can say internet 3 gig internet subscription. Let's say it's 2000. Then I say add new line. So this is for internet alone. You can say this is for internet alone. Now inside it, maybe I have another, let's say, meals and entertainment. Now I can say um, meal, or let me say training meal, or meal for training. Meal for training. Then I can say, okay, let's say we spend 5,000 on that. You can see, so you can see that this is now being splitted. So I am splitting them. So by the time I click on back to single expense view, which means it only considers the first one again, just like the former one we did. Now if you want to add new one again, you just add new line and pick what expense is this. Office supplies, maybe I bought let's say stationaries. Stationaries for the office. And let's say that was 25. It's that. So you can see you have opportunity to create as many as you want. You understand? You have opportunity to create as many as you want. Now when you are done, you can put whatever reference is on that document. So when you are done, you just click on save. This is a single date, multiple transactions. So all of them are going to different headings. You understand? So this is more referred to as split, expense split. So if I click here, you can see what the system will do. It has written in that, oh, there was an expense split here. So you can decide to check the details of what was actually expensed. So if you have to make any adjustment, you can come here and make your adjustment. You can come here to make your adjustment. Let's say this one was 25. But remember what the system will ask you. And I say save. Okay. So you can see like that. So you can have as many as you want on the system. So that is done already. You can delete if you wish. Then you can clone. Clone means you want to copy. You want to make same copy of the same transaction. Now let's go back. Now let me go back to my expenses. I've been able to do this. Now let me click on new again. Now I'll come back to this mileage. Let's go to bulk hard expenses. Now for bulk hard expenses, so if you have multiple dates, multiple transactions that you think you want to add, this is different from the aspects whereby you added what's it called, just a single day. This allows you for multiple. Let's say whatever thing I'm writing there is for the week, so I'm writing for the whole week. So all I just need to do is come here. Transaction happened in let's say 14th of November. Now what is the category name of expenses? Let's say we paid then we have 7.5 that will pay the consultant. Now this is not now if you also manage project, you can as well attach this to a project. Now then, sorry, there's something you can also add here, notes to the account. That is, you want to add description. All you just need to do is customize grid and remove those ones you don't want. I don't want this, I don't want billable, I don't want customer name, but I want notes. You understand? So then I click this. Now, so what is now the description? So because it is important for you to always put descriptions on all your transactions, it is easier for you to trace. Now, what is the notes? I can call this meal for consultant. Then I have another one still in the same week, since I'm doing it weekly. So I can see another transaction happened on the 17th. Now this is now let's say, okay, that period we even recorded. No, don't let me use this. Let me just use another. Um, okay, let's say there was rent and expense, so paid 3,000 for the week. Let's say rentage for the month. Understand? So like that, and so it keeps going like that. It keeps going like that. Just choose the right date, and let's say this particular period, I want to record my what they gain. Okay, I want to pay salaries, and expense. How much did I spend on salary? Let's say 10,000. Let's say 20,000 for salary. Sales rep salary. If you have more than, you want to put all of them together, you can put all of them together, maybe salary for all your staff. But if you decide that you want to split them, then you can split them. Let's say, okay, cashier also had another salary too, so I can still have salaries here, but this time around is for my cashier, so I have 15,000 here. Let's say cashier salary. You understand? So this also can be used for what's it called? If you are managing an estate, if you are managing the estate expenses, you can as well use this for them in terms of the money the estate is expensing out. So you can use, what do they use money for? Maybe at every point in time when they have meeting, they buy things for the community, or they buy things for the landlords that come around. You can have that. Or there is a repair that was done, so they can also have that recorded, so that everybody understand, oh, what did you use money for? These are the things you knew. Okay, they made money. They also had some kind of drainage that they did within the estate, so you can also use this to say, okay, the drainage that was actually done, this is it. So this will help to manage all that aspect. So if there is also a special project that is being done within the estate, so you can create project and attach this thing to them. So at the end of the day, you want to be able to monitor the expenses that is being what's it called, expenses that occurred within a particular project. So you can add that too. So when you are done, all you just need to do, if this is not enough, just click on add more items, and when you are done, just click on save. You can see, so this is done already. So if you scroll down, you see what the system would have done. So you can see what the system did. It splitted all the transactions individually. So look at it. You can see each transaction. You can see. So these are the things you need to take note of when you are entering your transactions on the system, so it makes work easier for you at this point in time. So let me edit something. Okay, so now so that is for bulk expenses. what if in a situation where you need to record mileage? What if in a situation whereby you need to record mileage? So all you just need to do is just to click on mileage. Now the mileage is just for you to be able to record per distance covered. So you could decide that for every 1 kilometer you are expending let's say 2,000 naira or 1,000 naira. So you want to be able to monitor those things by mileage. You understand? So all you just need to do is you need to pick. So you need what's it called, the expense head here. So let's say this is also, let me see, do I have anything like transport? I don't have anything like transport here, but let me create one. Okay, we can still use this fuel and whatever. Then mile. So whatever how you want to cover, you can use mile, you can use kilometer. Let's say we are using kilometer. Any mileage recorded on or after the start date will have the corresponding mileage rate. So if I look at this and say, okay, I want the system to say this is my mileage, that's when it wants to start, and the rate I'm using, that is for 1 kilometer covered, I'm having, let's say, 3,000, or let's say 500. Let's just say this 500 for every 1 million, every 1 kilometer covered. I'm having 500. So if you have more rates, you can still add more depending on the date. Now watch what will happen. So this is more like that exchange rate I talked about, that I told you regarding the date. So if I say save now, so now you can also manage your employees through this aspect. You can manage your employees through this aspect. Then say, okay, mileage. Oh, do I want to add my employee? So in that aspect, you want your employee to be responsible for each distance that is being covered. So you can add that to it. But situation whereby you don't need to add that, that's this employee is also available in what's it called? Okay, let me just say I'm not picking anything there. Now, distance travel. So it's either you are doing by distance or you are doing by odometer reading. So if I say, okay, I'm doing by odometer reading, you need to know the odometer that has been covered, the distance the odometer being covered. So you can say from that's before you moved. From this so let me say my gauge was on, my odometer reading was on 164.55. But when I returned, it was now 165.4. No, 555. So now, so what the system has done, it has been able to cover, telling you that this, for that odometer reading that you have read, that you have entered on the system, is 100 kilometer. You understand? So the system understands how to convert that odometer to kilometer. So it will convert it itself. So you don't need to start converting that yourself. So it recognized that 100 kilometer. So now 100 kilometer times what was it called is 5,000, 50,000 naira. That's 50,000 naira. You understand? So if I say, okay, no, I don't want to use this, I just want to enter the distance myself. So distance I covered is, let's say, 2.5, right? You can see 2.5 kilometer is 1,250. You can see how the system is able to determine if you are using the odometer reading or you are using the distance travel. So then you can put a reference if you have a reference to use. Then note, let me say visit to a client site for support. So it's always, for audit purpose, it's always better to spell out this very well. Let me say thus made for support. You understand? So then I can say save. You understand? So this is now part, this is already part of your expenses on the system. You understand? So if you watch, if you notice this, so as you are doing your activities, this is also improving. You can see the expenses. So your dashboard is also interactive with your data. You can see this is your top expenses, so you can actually know how your system is performing at that point in time. So you can see that. So when looking at this, you can know what your where you are expending money too much. Like if I want to make a decision now, if I look at this, or I say, oh, which one, what's the highest expenses being made? I can say 14%. Now 14%. This 14%, I can look at it. Not this 14% is not there. I think it's salaries here. So this salary is even understandable. That's 51.66%. So if I look at, say, oh, okay, let's say apart from earning these expenses, why is it expensive like this? So you can actually make a decision from this point. You understand? You can actually make a decision from that point. So this is just the little about your expenses. So watch out for our next class, whereby we'll look at some other setup. Now we'll be looking at setup relating to, let me put this on, let me collapse this button. Let me collapse this button. So we'll be looking at setup relating to the second level configuration in our next training. Thank you.